Welcome to this Toolbox talk on how to effectively manage difficult conversations. Conflict is a natural part of any workplace, but how we respond to it makes all the difference. In this session, we'll walk through some practical tools and frameworks to help you navigate challenging conversations with confidence and professionalism. Whether you're dealing with a disagreement with a colleague, a frustrated customer, or a difficult situation on site, these strategies will help you respond in a way that moves things forward constructively. Now let's look at the stop, think, act model, a simple but powerful approach to managing conflict in the moment. When tension arises, the first step is to stop, pause before reacting. Take a breath and resist the urge to respond immediately. This gives your brain time to shift from a reactive state to a thoughtful one. There's a reason this step matters so deeply, and it comes down to neuroscience. When we feel threatened or under attack, even emotionally, our brain's amygdala triggers the fight or flight response. In that state, we lose access to the rational, problem-solving parts of our brain. Psychologists call this amygdala hijack. Pausing, even for just a few seconds, helps regulate that response and allows the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for reasoning and empathy, to re-engage. A slow breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system and physically calms the body's stress response. That's not just good advice, it's biology. Next, think. Ask yourself, what is actually happening here? What outcome do I want? What are my options? Consider the other person's perspective and think about how different responses might land. This step draws on a concept from psychology called cognitive reappraisal, consciously reframing how we interpret a situation. Research by psychologist James Gross shows that people who reappraise emotional situations rather than suppress them experience better outcomes in relationships and well-being. Asking, "What's really going on here?" helps us move from a blame mindset to a curiosity mindset. It also draws on perspective taking, a skill linked to higher emotional intelligence and more effective conflict resolution. When we try to understand why the other person is behaving the way they are, we shift from adversarial thinking to collaborative thinking. Finally, act. Choose the response most likely to lead to a positive outcome. Focus on the issue, not the person, and communicate with respect and clarity. Remember, the goal is resolution, not winning. Next, let's explore the CLUIS framework, 5 steps to help you work through conflict systematically. C stands for clarify. Make sure you understand the real issue. Don't assume, ask questions and listen carefully to what's being said. Psychologically, we often think we know what a conflict is about, but research in conflict resolution shows that the stated issue is frequently not the root cause. Underlying needs, such as the need for respect, fairness, or autonomy, are often what's really driving the tension. Asking clarifying questions helps surface those deeper needs. L stands for listen. Give the other person your full attention. Avoid interrupting and focus on understanding their point of view before forming your response. This connects to active listening, a concept developed by psychologist Carl Rogers. Rogers found that people feel heard not just when we're silent, but when we reflect back what we've understood and show genuine curiosity. When someone feels truly listened to, their defensiveness drops significantly, making resolution far more likely. U stands for understand, acknowledge their feelings and perspective. You don't have to agree, but showing empathy goes a long way in de-escalating tension. This is rooted in empathy theory and emotional validation. Psychologist Marshall Rosenberg, the creator of nonviolent communication, showed that naming and acknowledging feelings without judgment helps the other person feel safe enough to move toward problem solving. It doesn't mean you agree with their position. It means you're acknowledging their human experience. E stands for explore options. Brainstorm possible solutions together. The best outcomes usually come from collaborative problem solving, not one-sided decisions. Jointly exploring options taps into what negotiation researchers Roger Fisher and William Ury call interest-based negotiation, the idea behind their famous book, Getting to Yes. Rather than fighting over fixed positions, you look at what each person actually needs and find creative solutions that meet both sets of needs. This approach dramatically increases satisfaction with the outcome for both parties. S stands for settle on a solution. Agree on a clear, fair path forward and confirm what each person will do next. Following through on what's agreed is essential to rebuilding trust. Psychologically, this step matters because unresolved conflict creates what's called psychological debt, unspoken tension that builds over time and damages trust. When people follow through on agreements, it activates the brain's reward system and reinforces trust. Clear, specific commitments, rather than vague promises, are what make resolutions stick. Now let's cover the do's and don'ts of conflict resolution, because how you approach a difficult conversation matters just as much as what you say. Do stay calm and composed, even if the other person isn't. Do focus on the behavior or issue, not the person's character. Do use I statements to express how you feel without placing blame. And do look for common ground. Most conflicts have a solution both parties can accept. On the flip side, don't raise your voice or become aggressive. Don't bring up past grievances that aren't relevant to the current issue. Don't dismiss the other person's concerns or talk over them. And don't involve others unnecessarily. Keep the conversation between the people who need to resolve it. Keeping these do's and don'ts in mind will help you stay professional and constructive, even in heated moments. One of the most common challenges in difficult conversations is knowing what to actually say. Here are some phrases that can help you communicate effectively. To open the conversation, try, "I'd like to talk about something that's been on my mind. Is now a good time?" To describe the issue without blame. "When this happens, I feel, and it affects my work because..." To show you're listening, "I hear what you're saying. Can you help me understand more about..." To move toward a solution. "What do you think we could do differently going forward?" Or, "I'd like us to find a way that works for both of us." And to close the conversation constructively, "I appreciate you taking the time to talk this through. Let's check in again in a week to see how things are going." Using language like this signals respect and a genuine desire to resolve things, which makes the other person far more likely to engage positively. That brings us to the end of today's Toolbox talk on conflict resolution. We hope the stop, think, act model, the CLUES framework, and the practical phrases shared today give you the confidence to handle difficult conversations in your workplace. Remember, conflict doesn't have to be destructive. Handled well, it can actually strengthen relationships and improve how your team works together. If you'd like support with a specific situation, or if you'd like to discuss conflict resolution further, HR Dynamics is here to help. Reach out to us at the contact details shown on screen. We work with businesses right across Australia, and we're ready to support you. Thank you for participating in today's session.